Bobby Lashley is the new United States champion once again. Keith Lee had an extremely impressive win over Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns is officially the new Universal Champion. Hey everyone, I'm Denise Salcedo, and this is your WWE Payback post-show live stream. Welcome everyone to the channel. I am so excited to get started and talk about tonight's pay-per-view because it wasn't half bad whatsoever. And already I'm going to go ahead and kick it off because we got a super chat from Freddie Arredondo. Freddie, thank you so much for sending in this super chat. You are super awesome, kicking off our show in a great way. Make sure to send in your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys thought of the pay-per-view. We're going to talk about the pay-per-view, go through each and every single match, and talk about all the major things that happened on tonight's show. And there is lots to talk about. But let's start off with Freddie. Freddie says, "Hola, Denise. I knew Roman Reigns was going to get heel heat, but by the way he won tonight and the Fiend only holding the title for a week, I thought it would get him real heat. Thoughts? Hashtag support Luke Nice." Okay, so that's definitely mine and Luke's new name. It's Luke Nice. But okay, so I very much liked the ending to today's pay-per-view. I thought that I would have done some things differently. I thought that overall Roman Reigns would have had a much more impressive win had he just gone full force and either gotten the pin on Braun Strowman after he got those chair shots in on him, or had he just hit one spear and gone off from there. To be honest, I thought had he done it that way instead of the way that it went down tonight, I thought the win would have been a lot more impressive. I thought that they should have kept away Roman Reigns from Bray Wyatt and had them not touch whatsoever, because it sort of would have kept that, electricity around them a lot more. So those are my thoughts in terms of the ending of tonight's pay-per-view, but I'll go into that more as we get to that match later today. But guys, make sure to go ahead and send in your thoughts, send in your super chats. They really help me out like Freddie did just right now. Thank you guys so much. So what did you guys think of the show overall? Let's go ahead and see what everybody else is saying. All right, we have Jobber JJ who says, overall, this show was mostly boring. Heels work over babyface. Babyface makes comeback and wins. Keith Lee winning clean was great. Mysterio versus Seth and Murphy best match in main event was weird. Okay, so Jobber JJ literally just stole my entire opinion for today. I kid you not. I was thinking the exact same thing. I liked the pay-per-view. I thought it was fine, but I did think that the first portion of the pay-per-view was not good. I thought it was a little bit predictable, like JJ just mentioned, heels working over the babyface and babyface making a comeback and winning. We saw that exact same theme, that exact same layout in several of the matches for today, one of which was the United States Championship match with Apollo Crews versus Bobby Lashley. We saw that with Big E versus, I'm sorry, not with the United States Championship match, excuse me. We saw that with the Big E versus Sheamus match, and we saw that with Matt Riddle versus King Corbin. And I thought we were almost going to see it with the Keith Lee Randy Orton match, but we didn't. But I thought with the Matt Riddle King Corbin, Big E versus Sheamus match, we definitely saw the overall same thing happen. And so, to be honest, I did not like those matches. I thought that they were praised highly on social media, but I did not see it whatsoever. So I didn't feel as positive for those matches that some other people might have. So overall, I definitely agree with you, Jobber JJ. Same thing. I think that match of the night was definitely the tag match, Mysterio and Dom versus Murphy and Seth. I definitely think that was the best match, but there were some other really great moments on tonight's pay-per-view that we will go ahead and talk about. But let's see what else you guys thought. Cameron Christie says, sick finish with Baszler by tapping out Bayley and Sasha Banks. That was such a good finish. To be honest, this match was not bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. And we'll go ahead and get into that more afterwards. But overall, I did really like the finish for sure. Let's see. Mesmer Hart says, is Roman now the top heel on SmackDown? I think he's the top heel right now, period. Tonight definitely solidified that heel turn. So I am so excited to see what Roman Reigns is going to be doing as a heel. And not only that, not just working as a a heel, but also working alongside Paul Heyman. All right. You just know they're going to work up some magic together. Gianmarco says, Denise, did you like most SummerSlam more or Payback? I'm going to say that I like SummerSlam more. I thought SummerSlam still had some, overall, I thought it had more of a better show. But that's not taken away from Payback. And to be honest, I didn't really have high expectations for Payback whatsoever. I thought it was just going to be like, all right, just a bunch of rematches that we've already seen, whatever. I didn't really think that it was going to be anything special, but I will say that it maybe exceeded my expectations of the actual show. Gianmarco also says, by the way, tonight booking was solid. See, I kind of disagree on that one. Just as I mentioned earlier, I didn't really like how everything sort of went down. Seth Morgana says, super happy for Keith Lee. That Keith Lee finish did so much for Keith Lee. I couldn't believe it. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I mean, I was expecting Keith Lee to win, but I was not expecting for him to win in that manner whatsoever. Chris DeZuba says, it wasn't a bad show, but didn't really keep my interest. That's how I felt for the first half of the show. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. We're going to go through each and every single match. It's 8 matches. We're going to go ahead and start off with the pre-show match, which was the Riot Squad versus the Iconics. So this was on the pre-show. Honestly, for this match, I truly wasn't expecting a lot. I didn't really think that it was anything, that was moment of the night or anything like that. I thought that there was a lot of confusion between what was happening with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot and the Iconics, making it seem like they weren't on the same side. We did see some hesitation from Liv Morgan. However, I just want to go ahead and say, though, that I think that Liv Morgan is such a special talent. And here's the thing, is that she's still pretty green in the ring. We know that. She's still a little bit, she isn't as sharp as maybe as some of the other women, but I do think that Liv Morgan has something that not a lot of people have on the roster, where she could be something special if she was pushed a certain way, and if she had certain matches with certain women that could sort of help her elevate her in-ring game. She has the persona, and something about her makes me want to see more from Liv Morgan. So to be honest, that was the only takeaway for me during this match, is I want to see more with Liv Morgan, but that was about it. I truly think that she should be a singles competitor, because I'm sort of over the whole Riot Squad thing. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think that the Riot Squad is the way that it should go, or do you think that she should be a singles competitor, sort of like what I think here? Jackson Sales says, do you think Payback would have been with a little bit better, more of a build? Do you think Payback would have been better with a little bit more of a build? Yeah, but I mean, it was really just a week, honestly, that we had. I didn't even have time to make predictions, because it was like, okay, 1 second's like SummerSlam, and then the next it's Payback. It came so fast. Cameron Christie says, wasn't anything special for me. Womp womp. Yeah, unfortunately, it was just a pre-show match, so I think we got what we expected. Isaac says, Liv Morgan needs to be in the ring with more Asukas and less Iconics, because the latter are going to do nothing for her. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you. That is exactly what I was trying to say. She needs to be in the ring with women that are going to help her get better. With somebody like Natalya, or like you just mentioned, an Asuka, someone that will help her sharpen her in-ring skills, because she does have what it takes in terms of actually becoming a star. She just needs to sharpen those in-ring moves and everything that she does in there. Azo Smith says, out of the 9 matches they've had, this is probably my favorite one. Ruby and Liv's tag finisher looks boss. And then Daniela Flores says, I saw you unwrestle Luke elbow cop. I was almost going to say Russell talk, but then I remembered that Luke's doing his own thing now. He's branched off and doing Wrestle Luke. That's awesome. Thank you so much for seeing me on there and then coming on here. Raymond Santiago says, Liv should be a singles competitor. She is underrated and definitely could benefit with a big push. Yes, I have said this on the Raw podcast before that I think she's one of those girls that could be, she has that thing that can make her like the next Lita, the next AJ Lee, the next Paige. She has that edginess, cool girl factor to her. And I think that if she was pushed the right way, she would attract so many, she would be a favorite of so many female fans, especially young female fans. But that's just my personal takeaway. Uncle Apton Wrestling Toys Inc. says they have nothing for her, so Riot makes it better for tag bouts. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the reason that it sort of just seems like there's nothing for her, because she did have those vignettes where she was in the bathtub and we all thought she was going to be doing like this new character, but then she comes in as Lana's lover and then that got dropped like after a week and now she's back, doing this. So, I mean, it's just sort of been all over the place. John Elite says Liv Morgan needs a push, like a big push. Yeah, she has it, guys. She has it. I don't know what it is, but she has something that I like and I want to see more of. All right, so now let's go ahead and get into the main show. So the opening match for Payback was for the United States Championship match. It was Apollo Crews versus Bobby Lashley. I didn't like this match. I will be frank with you. I thought that a lot of people that I saw on social media said they liked this match. I thought it was not that great. I was a little bit bored. However, with that being said, there were some good things about this match, and I'll go ahead and highlight those instead of telling you how bored I was during this match. We did see a lot of Apollo Crews' athletic size. I thought athletic ability. I thought that was showcased really well throughout this match. He looked impressive. However, I think one of the things that was lacking for me in this match was that Bobby Lashley has had a very impressive streak the last several weeks. And it sort of feels like he's sort of lost some of that momentum, some of that hype that he had maybe in the last several weeks. So I didn't really feel that momentum coming into this match. I didn't think this was a good opening match. I thought it could have been an easy filler match in between, I don't know, some other match. I just didn't think it was that great. I think that Apollo could have some really good matches with an opponent that can carry him more. I didn't really see it with Bobby Lashley. I think that we need to showcase more of Apollo's strengths. However, I did think that it was a cool thing to have Bobby Lashley win the bout. And what I specifically liked about him winning the bout was that the Hurt Business didn't interfere whatsoever in this match. And that was great because Bobby Lashley is not a competitor where you need interference or you need someone to help him win the bout. So I did like how he actually won the bout. But the match itself, I was really not a fan of. One thing that I was a fan of, though, was that Apollo had a lot of tributes to Black Panther, which I thought was really great. So that's just a side. I really did like that. But here's the question that I have for all of you. So obviously we're going to have a rematch between Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley at some point. But where does Apollo Crews go from here? Where does he go? Does he join the Hurt Business? Or does he go back to the mid cards, floating around like he was prior to this program with Bobby Lashley? What happens with Apollo Crews? Go ahead and send in your thoughts here, guys. All right, so Jobber JJ says, completely forgot Lashley won. Lashley, right result. Who's next? Or take this belt to Raw Underground. I don't know if I can see this belt at Raw Underground, but I think at this point, Raw Underground does need a reason in terms of they haven't specified what it's really about, what these guys are fighting for, what the purpose is. So anything to sort of show some purpose would be a good idea, but I don't know if this would be specifically the bout for that. John Elite says, love that Apollo Crews paid tribute to Chadwick Boseman with the Black Panther pose. Yeah, I definitely think that was great. Isaac says, Bobby Lashley is presented as an MMA badass, but seems to insist on wrestling like a regular wrestler, which doesn't maximize on his strengths. He needs to wrestle more like Brock. Maybe yes and no. I just think that there's something missing with Bobby Lashley that he sort of was hitting on the last several weeks, but it's sort of faded away. Danita Flores says, it's not the end of the world. Apollo should join the Hurt Business in a couple of months and maybe have them turn on Shelton. Then Brock can have a reason to go after Lashley. Interesting. So I think that having him join the Hurt Business would probably be the best call for sure. Stephen Butler says, the United States title is a good fit for Bobby Lashley. He should dominate and defeat all challengers. Yes, I do agree with that. That would be great, actually. And then John Elite says, turn him heel. Turn Apollo Crews heel. I don't see it right now. He just seems like this natural, like, he's just like a natural baby face, though, because the times that we have seen him on the mic, especially, I think we saw him do some pretty good mic work for 2 Raws in a row where he came across as very, very likable and very, very natural. And I think I would like to see more of that, to be honest. And then Cameron says, Cruz maybe feuds with Black. That could be interesting. Well, Alistair right now is working with Kevin Owens, but maybe after that, something with Apollo Crews. I mean, anything other than the whole, I thing with Alistair Black, to be honest. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on. So after this match, we had Biggie versus Sheamus. So I'm gonna sound like a hater right now, guys. I really am, but I didn't like this match either. I didn't think this match was good at all, and I know a lot of people liked it, so maybe I missed something here. If you liked this match, tell me why you liked this match. But I personally thought that it dragged. I thought that Sheamus sort of was like the main focal point of this match. Biggie didn't really get any offense until the end. I thought that this should have been focused more on Big E because Sheamus is already slotted on the roster. He didn't need to look good in this match. The person that needed to look good in this match was Big E. We should have had a higher impactful match where he does, all of these big power moves that we know Big E is really good at doing and always looks very impressive when he does them. So I do think that even though he won, it wasn't necessarily a match where we're like, oh my God, he won the best. This was the best victory for him. Like, yeah, winning is one thing, but I didn't really think that the match itself was all that great. I thought he could have won in a more impressive manner, but that's just my opinion. DTMD says, I forgot this match happened. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Exactly. You wouldn't have forgotten this match happened had it actually been good. James Smith has a side note question, says, have you been in the Thunderdome? I have not. I don't know. I'm too I feel I do too much while watching a show that I just can't be watching the show just like this. I feel like I have to do stuff. And so I don't think I would be a good fit. Bakir says Roman Reigns is now a 3-time WWE champion and 2-time Universal champion. So we'll get to that later on, but thank you so much for leaving a comment. Any other thoughts on this match? Kyle says the ending sucks. WWE has a big continuity problem. A lot of people have said that, so I'm definitely not going to argue that. But there you go. That was Biggie versus Sheamus. I would give it a thumbs down, unfortunately. And let's go ahead and move on to the next match. So after that, we had I almost put the wrong match, guys. All right, here we go. Right after that, we had Matt Riddle versus Baron Corbin. And this was the exact same thing, guys. The exact same thing as the previous match. And that's when I was just not having it. So this was to me, this was the exact same thing as Biggie versus Sheamus. We saw King Corbin just get over the entire match, and then Matt Riddle gets the win. But for the first 5, 10, however many minutes, Matt Riddle got 0 offense, which was similar again to the previous match. Matt Riddle won. I didn't think it was an impressive match whatsoever. And then even afterwards, when Matt Riddle is doing an interview and then Baron Corbin comes out and attacks him, gets his heat back, and now this feud is continuing. Nothing special out of this match. However, everybody was talking about the fact that Matt Riddle's real life issues or controversies have been brought to light in this storyline. What do you guys think about that? Because from what I saw on social media, people were not a fan of it. What did you guys think? Cameron says, ugh, same thing. Copy, paste, repeat. Yes, this was a copy, paste, repeat match for sure. And then DTMD says, why wasn't this on the pre-show? I don't think, obviously, because of the people that were in it, Matt Riddle, it shouldn't have been on the pre-show, but again, it wasn't anything very special. Manuel says, I'm very sad with the show, in my opinion. The Fiend is the best. Just want to say The Fiend is the best idea in last WWE years, and he's getting wrecked in all of his fights, he should consider going to AEW. I think the Fiend right now, he's fine. He's fine. I think he'll do some good stuff with Rollins, I think, down the line. Jobber JJ says, this sucked. He Riddle wins and gets attacked backstage for more heat. This is how not to book baby faces. Yeah, I have to agree with that. Isaac says, to me, Baron Corbin is a toxic character because he's essentially exists as Vince's middle finger to the hardcore fans. He's not interesting, and a win over him means nothing. I think that Baron Corbin does great work, but he has been sort of slotted as a guy that isn't necessarily taken seriously in the eyes of the fans. So that definitely hurts the people that they put him up against, because it just takes away from that competitor, unfortunately. And I think that's what we found for this match. Aaron Kane says, I hate this feud is going to continue after Corbin attacked Riddle. Exactly. Raymond says, I liked the Riddle Corbin match a little more. Matt looks solid. Nice submissions. Big win for him over King Corbin. And Gianmarco says Corbin has a superpower to make annoying every feud with him and whoever. And then DTMD says rip retribution. And Kevin M says Matt Riddle's personal problems shouldn't have been brought into things because that doesn't do anything to get people behind him if they know about them. Yeah, it's not something that I necessarily would want included into a feud, because everything that went down with Matt Riddle on social media was not necessarily flattering whatsoever for him. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I was crazy about that. Freddie Arredondo says, feel sorry for Matt Riddle. The talent is there for WWE to just ruin it. Ugh. Well, I think it's not like necessarily completely destroyed. It's just that I think we all had a different idea of what we thought Matt Riddle would be doing once he got to the company, especially because he's that guy that sort of has everything that you can possibly ask for in a professional wrestler and in a star. Uncle Ampton says, Corbin is a great young talent. The fans forget they wanted him on top. Jobber J just says, can't wait for Corbin and Riddle to feud for another 8 months and pour dog food over him. I hope not. God, I hope not. D-Train Riot Maker says, sorry I'm late, Denise, but I'm here. All right, guys, there we go. BTW, just a friendly reminder, if any of you guys want to send in any super chats throughout this entire stream, you are more than welcome to. It really helps out my channel. But either way, I just want to thank you guys all so much for being part of this stream, because it makes me happy to have people in here. Thank you guys so much. All right, but let's continue on. All right, so we just finished talking about Baron Corbin, Matt Riddle. Let's move on to this next match, which we had was for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, and it was Bayley and Sasha versus Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And ladies and gentlemen, we have new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, of all people, are now Tag Team Champions. Wow. Okay, so last week on Raw, I was not a fan whatsoever of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax becoming a duo. Okay, I was not having it. Oh, hold on, guys. Pause. Justin Smith. Oh my God, Justin, thank you so much. You sent in a super chat. He says, hi, Denise. Just wanted to show you some love to my favorite Swiftie. PS. So happy for Shayna Baszler. Justin Smith is awesome, guys. Justin Smith bought my t-shirt, is a Swiftie, supports, and is just like nicest person ever. Thank you so much, Justin, for sending in a super chat. Seriously, thank you so much. I always feel bad, though, guys. I feel like I don't know how to thank you guys enough. So just know that if I say thank you to you, I really mean like 20 thank yous when I say one. So for every thank you, it's like 20 thank yous with that. Okay. So, okay. I did not like them as a tag team whatsoever. I thought, this is so dumb. I'm not here for it whatsoever. However, today I completely changed my opinion. I am a fan of this Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax tag team situation now. So I did a full 180 from this week's Raw until today. So literally in 7 days or whatever, I changed my opinion. And I'm actually a fan of this. And the reason why I'm a fan of them being tag team champions is because I think that they could be that like odd couple tag team that actually works. You know, sometimes when you don't think someone would be a good tag team and then they get paired up together and they end up being some of the most people that you actually really like. They end up balancing off of each other and working really well. I think we might be seeing that with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. And I also think that they can have Shayna Baszler show more of her personality, because how much do we even really know right now of Shayna Baszler? We don't really even know that much about her. To be honest, we really don't. So I think that this might allow her to show some more personality. And prior to this, what was Shayna Baszler really doing on the Raw women's roster? Not much. And Nia Jax just came back, from having the double knee surgery and all of that. So there wasn't really much going on there with them. So at least now with the tag bouts, they have something, they have some sort of purpose. As for the actual match, I thought this match was good. It wasn't bad whatsoever, but I did think that Shayna Baszler was the highlight of this match, because I thought when she was in the ring, everything was just like flowing really great. It was entertaining. However, when she wasn't, I kind of felt that there was sort of a halt put to the match that didn't necessarily impress me very much. So I did think that Shayna was the star of the match. And as we mentioned earlier at the top of the stream, the finish was super awesome. It was very, very, very unique. Shayna essentially used Sasha's own arm to choke out Bayley, and I thought that was just very unique and very clever. But what did you guys think of this match? Let's go ahead and see, because I know we are getting lots of comments on this one. I think you guys had a lot to say. So Greg Cherrybrand says, "I'm hoping this shows more of Shayna's personality and hopefully builds her to being a bigger star, and naturally love the slow burn of Sasha and Bayley." And then hashtag cherry for Quizomania. That's awesome. No, I definitely agree with you seeing more of Shayna's personality there. Cameron Christie says, "Still kind of shocked that Shayna and Nia won." I feel you. I have to register it as well. Cameron also says, "I thought that Bayley would have been underwhelmed with the title defenses down the line and betrayed Banks maybe 2 months." I'm wondering, because I thought that they were going to continue this Bayley and Sasha feud all the way to WrestleMania, but now I'm wondering if they're going to pull the trigger a lot sooner, given that they're losing bouts left and right. So I'm wondering how much longer they're going to keep that going, and if they can keep it all the way to WrestleMania. John Carousa says, "I want a Denise Salcedo t-shirt." Dude, check me out on ProWrestlingTees.com/Denise Salcedo. Francisco says, "Sasha's turn face soon? ? I hope her and Bayley can have a bunch of great matches like they did in the NXT feud in 2015. Xander says, "I believe this is kind of the first Franken team in the women's tag scene to hold the title, so I'm kind of down for it." Also, Xander, congratulations on coming out on Wrestle Luke today. I saw your tweet and I laughed when you said that people said you look like SRS's younger brother, and then you apologized to SRS. Gianmarco says the end of the match was an NXT takeover level of ending. Yes, because it was creative and unexpected. John Elite says, "I was expecting Sasha to turn on Bayley." You meant Bayley, right? Okay. Well, Sasha was looking at Bayley like super pissed, like she was not having it. Isaac says, "I've always nerve-wracking watching Nia Jax wrestle, let alone top stars, but this match was quite entertaining and progressed the Banks-Bayley storyline further." Kyle notes, "I don't think it's okay for any wrestling promotion to bring a person's personal life into a storyline. Riddle most likely signed off on it, but still, I feel bad for Matt." And then, guys, we got another super chat. William, thank you so much. William says, "Honestly, I'm 50-50 on the ending. Thoughts on a submission championship?" No, I just feel like there might be too much bouts to make it like, oh, about for this and about for that. I'm not necessarily crazy on that. I prefer just like, your Raw champion, your SmackDown champion, obviously because of the brand split, and just, your basic bouts for given categories, but not overdoing it like, oh, the submission championship, this championship, that championship. But William, thank you so much for your input, and thank you so much for this super chat. All right. Kevin M says, "Shayna looked like a monster in the victory, but I don't see the reign lasting long. The odd couple tag team will end up more like MVP and Matt Hardy and less like the Bar." I guess you're right. It can go one of two ways, right, with the odd couple tag team. And then Stephen Butler says, "I was impressed with Shayna's dominance with the finish and hope this progression of Bayley versus Sasha eventual feud continues." Yeah, I honestly want to see Sasha Bayley main event WrestleMania, because right now that's the match that I can definitely see making it all the way to WrestleMania and feeling as important as a WrestleMania main event should be. Because to be honest, in my opinion, the matches that have the hottest feud, the best storylines, and have the most, fan interest are the matches that should be the main event for WrestleMania. And right now, that's definitely it. All right, so here we go. Let's move on to the next match. So here we go. It is Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. So this one was necessarily good because of the finish. So the finish for this match was Randy Orton was going for the RKO, but then instead Keith Lee got the powerbomb and ended up getting a clean finish on Randy Orton, which was completely unexpected. I obviously expected Keith Lee to win. That wasn't the big shocker. No, that wasn't the shocker. What the shocker was that the finish came out of nowhere, literally nowhere, and he actually got a clean finish off of Randy Orton. I thought that was fantastic. The match I thought was good. At first, I was a little bit worried that we were just going to see Randy Orton dominate Keith Lee. I thought we were going to see a rinse and repeat of the matches that we saw earlier. And then once I noticed that there was a shift and we actually saw Keith Lee get some offense, I realized that match was not going to go that direction. And let's face it, Randy Orton has been doing brilliant stuff and has been having storylines that are different from everything else on the show. But honestly, this was good. This was good because it honestly caught me off guard. Here we go. Danny LaForest says, I was tired, fell asleep. Was it good? The match was fine. It was mainly the ending that you might want to watch. Cameron Christie says, Keith Lee, whoop, whoop. Matt says, love Keith Lee winning, but it was such a sudden ending. But I think that was the good part of it, though, because it was unexpected. You didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. So I think that might have been good. DTMD says, unpopular opinion. Randy should have won. That is unpopular. And I'm only going to say that because I think right now Keith Lee needs everything that he can to be considered a top star. Randy Orton, he doesn't need that. He's a top star. He's a legend. We already know that. Keith Lee is the one who needs it the most. Jobber JJ says, yes, Keith winning clean. So happy. Aaron says, the next pay-per-view, Randy Orton to appear out of nowhere and RKO Nia Jackson cost them the titles. That is so random. Brent Grant says, this was the highlight. Spirit Bomb out of the RKO. It was a Randy match with headlocks, but happy finish. Yeah, exactly. The match itself wasn't anything extraordinary, but it was really the finish that made it. Raymond Santiago says, magical finish. Huge moment to elevate the career of Keith Lee by defeating the Legend Killer. Yes, if I could highlight your comment right now where you said elevate the career of Keith Lee, I would, because that is exactly what we saw happening. And oh my God, we got another super chat. Thank you so much, Michael. Michael says, so happy Keith won, but the finish was kind of out of nowhere. Michael, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. Seriously, thank you. Secondly, yeah, the finish was out of nowhere, but I truly think that's what made this a big moment. That's what made it. That's why we're talking about it, because the finish was out of nowhere and it even took Randy Orton by surprise. And let's be real, that doesn't happen to Randy Orton very often. To just have him lose out of nowhere, that doesn't happen for him. So for Keith Lee to do that to Randy Orton, especially with the hot streak that he's been on, that makes it that much more impactful. But I also want to talk about Keith Lee's gear, guys, and his theme, because DTMD just said I want his NXT theme. What are your guys' thoughts on Keith Lee's gear and the music? I know we all don't like, because everybody already told me on Twitter. I got like 100 comments about how people do not like Keith Lee's new music, and I, for one, am not going to disagree with any of you guys because I wasn't necessarily a fan of it. D-Train says Keith Lee needs old theme. Only thing missing. I honestly think that I'm not a fan of Keith Lee's gear. I will say that. I don't like the t-shirt thing. I think that when he didn't have it, he looked more, more impressive. So I will say that that's one of the things that I'm not a fan of. I think if he's going to do that t-shirt with those shorts, he might as well go for a singlet, to be honest, because I didn't like the t-shirt shorts pairing whatsoever. But Gianmarco says, the legend Keith Lear. Keith Lear? Did I say that right? Zishin says, sup, Denise, Keith winning was a highlight of the night. First of all, what's up? Thank you so much for coming into the stream. And yes, Keith winning was definitely one of the highlights whatsoever. I mean, D-Train says, Gear is but I guess they make him wear it to cover his stomach. That's sad. Yeah. Kyle Buckhavage Jr. says, if you had the power to elevate, push any superstar, who would it be? Mustafa Ali. I have said this and I will say it again. Mustafa Ali is a goddamn star, okay? They have so much potential with Mustafa Ali. I think he is that guy that can really bring in, there's certain talents, there's certain guys that connect to children and, really get children to like get behind him, buy all his merch and all of that stuff. Somebody like a Rey Mysterio, somebody like that, right? I think that they could definitely do that with Mustafa Ali. He just has that. He has natural charisma. He has that star power. He's great in the ring. I mean, what else do you want from the guy? And he's a good guy. And he has so many fans. And can you imagine how many more he would even have if he was actually pushed? I mean, I just really think that there is so much that they could do with Mustafa Ali. So I would say Mustafa Ali. Aleister Black, there's no reason why he should be fiddling around the roster. I'm glad to see him working now with Kevin Owens. I would also say Andrade because he's a goddamn star too, okay? And he can do so much, have so many incredible big moment matches with lots of talent. So Andrade is another one. Angel Garza. Nobody has charisma or personality like Angel Garza. So Angel Garza would be another one of those guys that I would definitely like to see pushed. One of the people that everybody's talking about right now that definitely also deserves a moment is Big E. I know that, the whole controversy with him being too funny and not enough serious, whatever, that's a thing. Nah, let's push Big E. Big E is great too. So those would be some of the people that I would elevate/push. Isaac says Keith Lee gets over because he is a huge man who can do it all of these amazing moves. Hiding his torso hinders that somewhat. Thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Like, I'm a fan of big guys that you think, they're limited because they're big, right? But then when they go out there and they do all of these impressive maneuvers, you're just thinking like, holy cow, that's so cool because it looks cool. So I do agree with you. I do think that, his size should not be seen as a negative, but it should be seen as a pro because you don't think that somebody of that size can move like that. And then when he does, it's so impressive and it's so cool. And that's what gets people to, to view him. Anakin JMT, what's up? He sent me a super chat. Thank you so much, Anakin JMT. He says, Denise, Sean made it through the whole post show without cursing. You trained him. Wow. So I think I've cursed on this show. So I think me and SRS are probably swapping personas now, but I doubt it. I don't think the Dong Lord is gonna stop cursing anytime soon. But Anakin JMT, thank you so much for sending in a super chat and for stopping into my channel. Danilo Flores says your pronunciation of Andrade was actually really good. Yeah, I'm Mexican, so that's probably why. I don't know how else to say it, but thank you. Yeah, it really bugs me when people don't say like Andrade, right? Or Humberto. They've called him like Humberto. They've called him like all these other stuff. So yeah. John Elite says, I like Keith Lee, but his top and theme needs to go. Julia the Swiftie. Oh my God. Hi, Julia. She says, me entering without knowing a thing about WWE just to hear Denise talk. Julia, that makes me so happy. You are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on to the stream and listening to me talk about WWE. You're awesome. All right, guys, so there you go. That was that match there. But let's move on because we still have a few more things to talk about for today. So the next match that we're going to go ahead and get into was actually the match that I thought was match of the night, and it was Dominic teaming with his dad, Rey Mysterio, versus Seth Rollins and Murphy. By the way, I can't call Murphy just Murphy. I always feel like calling him Buddy Murphy. I clearly have not let the buddy go. Honestly, I haven't let the buddy go. But to be honest, this was definitely match of the night. It was good pacing, a lot of great spots, a lot of great moments. I think that Dominic has really proven that where he's at right now, his experience level, it feels good. He doesn't feel out of place in the ring with all these other guys who have an immense amount of not more talent, but more experience than he does. He doesn't feel out of place being in the ring with them. This felt like a regular tag team match, with lots of action. So I thought it was really, really good. If anything, this would have been a better opener for the pay-per-view because it just had that like high impact, fast-paced action that I think is how you should open up a pay-per-view. Going forward, I do think that Rey Mysterio and Dominic should be a regular tag team. I think it would do them both a lot of favors. It would add a lot more to Rey Mysterio's career in terms of lengthening it. Obviously, he's getting older. He still moves like a freaking rock star, so that's not even an issue. But obviously, as time and age, gets you, I think that working in a tag team with Dom would definitely help him keep elongating his career. And then for Dominic, obviously, he's still not pitch perfect. So working with Rey Mysterio will hide any of the flaws or any of the things that he's not necessarily good at right now. And meanwhile, growing and becoming a better in-ring competitor. So to be honest, I'm really liking everything that they're doing right now with Dominic. And that was not what I was saying a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, I was like, I'm not really liking where this is going. But I have completely turned around on this and changed my mind. I really like what they're doing here with this. But let's go ahead and see what you guys thought about this match here. And then Injection says, to be honest, I'm really into the whole Alexa Bliss stuff. She's got a great acting, she's a great actor. It's something different. Bray's a great actor. I'm getting first couple of months of Firefly Funhouse Goosebumps vibes, and I love it. That is a great comment, and we'll talk about that more. Outside the Bubble says, Denise, can I be your buddy? Hell yeah, you can be my buddy. I definitely need more friends. So yes, thank you so much for that. Let's see. What did you guys think of? Oh, Jack says, I still call Biggie Langston. So funny story, when I interviewed Biggie, I called him Biggie Langston. And he was like, oh, I haven't heard that in a while. And I was like, shit, I forgot that you don't go by Biggie Langston anymore. And that happened a few years ago. So I was really, really embarrassed by that. But he laughed, so it's okay. As Xander says, take it from someone who has to commentate 2K matches with Murphy. In them, I frequently call him Buddy. It's so hard. When you're used to somebody's name, it's really hard to call them something else. D-Train says, glad he got rid of the hood. D-Train, thank you so much for having my back here because I was going to mention that and I completely forgot to mention that. So thank you for mentioning it. I'm so glad he got rid of the hood because it was distracting when we saw him with it at SummerSlam. And so now that he's gotten rid of the hood, that was definitely a good call. Matt says, I really like this match. Good ending. And all the wrestlers involved worked their socks off. Yes, that's really good. Zushin says, Shania Twain. That's a good one. All right. Jobber J just says, even though it's time, the same WWE formula, this match was great. 3 excellent workers, and WWE hiding Dominic's weakness is refreshing to see. Yeah, he has to be protected. He's not bad, but he's obviously not at a level like Seth or Murphy or Ray. Umair says, I'm not against Roman winning, but Fiend just won the title. Let him do some stuff before dropping it. Braun and Fiend were here for the PC era. As soon as fans came back, Roman stole their spotlight. See, but it's different now because Roman has this new persona. We haven't seen this Roman yet. So because of that, I think it was definitely okay. Anakin JMT says, Denise swearing is still something I'll never get used to. See, I told you. We've switched personas here. Julia the Swiftie says, still trying to figure out why no one has made a great Mean Girls reference saying she doesn't even go here. That's true. We can easily be like, she doesn't even go here. Miguel Mickey says, I don't know why this match was on Raw last Monday coming into Payback. It felt like this rivalry has been going on for months. And also, Denise, would you marry me? Thank you so much. I've never been proposed to on air, so that's a first. This is a moment in history. Unfortunately, I'm already engaged, so I'm going to have to respectfully decline. But yes, I agree with you. We saw this match, so it does take away a little bit going into the pay-per-view. I do think that when we have certain matches scheduled for pay-per-views, we should keep them that way and sort of have them be something that we haven't seen before because it definitely takes away from the match for sure. Alrighty, guys. So let's go ahead and get into we are now going on to our last match of the night. Here we go. It was for the Universal Championship. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns versus the Monster, Braun Strowman, no holds barred, triple threat match. All right, so going into this, Roman didn't sign the contract. So we knew that at some point he was going to come in and get some sort of victory. I think that was the obvious prediction. I expected him to come out before Roman Reigns came out. I did think that this match was good. It had a lot of good moments, a lot of good spots. They did the Big Show Brock Lesnar breaking of the ring moment in this match. I didn't think it was necessarily as impactful as it could have been. I thought it was just a little like, I thought it felt short of that, making that impactful moment. So that one did take a little bit away from it for me, but either way, it was still a pretty good finish. So both guys were down. Roman Reigns comes out. He signs the contract. He tries to get the pin on both men. He doesn't. He hits Braun Strowman with a bunch of chair shots, which honestly, I thought that should have been the end of it. I thought that after Roman Reigns hit Braun Strowman with the chair shots, that should have been the end. He should have never engaged or contacted the Fiend, because I think that they should keep them away from each other to sort of keep building, eventually build that up to that rivalry, and, Bray could be like, what the hell, like, so I did think that they should have kept them away. I thought had Roman Reigns came in and just, hit the spear on Braun Strowman, that would have been a lot more of an impactful victory. But I did think that they dragged it a little bit, and it kind of took away from the impact for this, at least for me. But we do have a new Universal Champion, everyone, and it is Roman Reigns. And I, for one, am actually stoked about this, because like I mentioned earlier, this is a Roman Reigns that we haven't yet seen before. I mean, this is the new heel badass Roman Reigns, and I'm very excited to see what he's going to be doing, especially right now that he has Paul Heyman on his corner. So thoughts on this, because I feel like maybe some people are happy to see Roman Reigns as champion, but some people that we've been seeing are not happy about it. But let's see. Jobber JJ says, I was so confused at first, but this is a great way to get heat on Reigns, but it felt like Lesnar. Don't show up until you need to. Fiend, a babyface question mark. He did get screwed. But I think that was like the prediction, though, that Roman Reigns would come out and basically get this like one spot and just go from there. I actually really like that, because again, he's solidifying his heel turn by doing that, by doing just that. He's pissing people off. It's great. Stephen Butler says, a ring implosion isn't very good when the referee takes the best bump. Bro, he flew. He did like a backflip out of the top rope. That was crazy. Then he put, what happened to that guy? I'm looking forward to how WWE will use Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman at his side. Aaron says, not against Roman winning and didn't like the ring breaking spot, but I did think the Fiend should have won after winning the title back last week and build towards a Roman versus Fiend feud. I think that will happen down the lane. I think it's inevitable. Gianmarco says SmackDown really needs babyface to put against Roman. Xander says good for Roman. I'm not going to bash it till I've seen more of what he can do with the new gimmick. Uncle Ampton says this brings back the Wyatt family. Danilo says, so Alexa will be with the Fiend now, ? So she's like in love with him, right? Like she's in love with the Fiend now. Is that what's happening here? I think that's what I understand. And then Braun will feud with Roman again, ? I'm actually content with the results. The Fiend doesn't need the championship. Roman as a heel does. Yeah, it's really interesting. The whole Alexa Bliss thing. It's new. It was not something that I saw coming, but I'm actually intrigued by it. Don't hate me, but I'm intrigued by this whole Alexa Bliss having a crush thing. I don't know why. It just captures my attention. Anakin JMT says Roman as a heel needs new music, though. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because I had that in my notes, actually. He needs new music. And I think that they were saving the new music for him actually winning the title. I mean, if there's new music. If there's new music, it has to be after he wins the title. Come out on SmackDown, new music. I think that's what we need to see. I definitely agree with that. Kevin M says Buddy Murphy, Antonio Cesaro, Biggie Langston, Andrade Cien Almas, Elias Sampson, Otis, I like how you're just putting all of their first and last names and all the other names they went by. John says, love the main event, except I was hoping Retribution would interfere. Loving Roman as a mega heel with Heyman. Yeah, it was pretty interesting that we did not see Retribution. I was not hoping that they would interfere, though, that's for sure. Let's see. Bekir says, Roman Reigns deserved the victory because he never lost the title. Universal title after winning it for the first time. Jackson Dale says, I'm happy Roman is champ and he is looking better than ever and feels reinvented. I just hope this doesn't turn into Roman versus Brock again. Jackson Dale, I think the key words here are feels reinvented, because he really does feel reinvented. And I really feel that the fans are behind him right now and they're excited for what he's going to do next. And Roman Reigns has that. I mean, dude, Roman Reigns is not just anybody, guys. Like, he is a real gosh darn star. He's real athletic. Like, he's cool. Like, if you let him be himself, I think that he'll really get over with everybody. Honestly, I really, really see it happening. Anakin, thank you so much for another Snapchat. Oh my God, I said Snapchat instead of Super Chat. Sorry. Okay. Anakin James, he says, Alexa's playing out her Disney dream of the damsel in distress. That is a really good way of putting it. Damsel in distress, or maybe like, I don't know, because yeah, okay, I can see it. I can definitely see it. Thank you so much, Anakin JMT, for the super chat, not the Snapchat, the super chat. Raymond says, I noticed Reigns doesn't do his battle cry anymore before the spear because he's a heel now. Umair says, I don't want Fiend to go after Roman Reigns now. It's not like he's winning it back, so 1 or 2 losses will hurt Fiend's character even more. Not to mention he's not as over as he was a year back. Exactly why I said that they should keep him away for each other. I don't think it would work right now. Would not work. Aaron says, it's kind of weird. Roman is champion and people are saying he doesn't suck. People are finally cheering. All right, guys, get your last questions in or comments. I am about to wrap up the stream, so I just want to read a couple more comments before we go. Umair Cirilli says, I would prefer AJ Styles as first challenger for Roman Reigns. He's good on the mic, and he's also good in the ring. He's phenomenal in the ring. Would it be awesome to see him against Heyman on the mic and Roman in the ring? Also, guys, this is actually a good moment before you all tune out. I do want to let you all know that obviously I've been doing a lot of WWE post-show pay-per-views. However, I'm going to add to my post-shows list, and I'm going to start doing more shows. So I'm going to actually be back on September 5th on Saturday talking about AEW's All Out. So I will be doing an All Out post-show review. So if you guys want to come back in on September 5th, I will be here. And then I will also be back on September 27th for Clash of Champions. So those are 2 of my upcoming post-show live streams on YouTube. And if you guys want to find out like any interviews or any other live streams or any other videos that I post, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, set a reminder, whatever you guys want. And follow me on Twitter and or Instagram at _ Denise Salcedo. I'm very, very active on social media. So if you reach out, chances are I will see it and I will try to respond or at least give you a like or something. So that's at _ Denise Salcedo. And I am trying to get to 10K. So hopefully I get there sooner rather than later. But let's go ahead and read some final comments here of what you guys are saying. Miguel Mickey says, I like that the pay-per-views are shorter. Yes, I do agree with you. I think it's more of a fresh air where you don't feel like it's dragging on. I don't like the idea of dragging on a match just to fill time. So I agree with you. If a match needs to be like 5 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it needs to be, go with it. John Elite says, ooh, Brock's going to be jealous. Paul Heyman's with Roman. Probably not. I don't think so. But here we go. Oh, Michael sent in another super chat. Michael, you're so kind. Yay. I can order food now on Postmates with all these super chats. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. Michael says, overall, a good show, 3 out of 5 for me. You know what? I think I agree with your rating. If we're going to start rating these shows, I think I agree with a 3 out of 5 rating here. Thank you so much, Michael. And Cameron Christie says, at Denise Salcedo is all elite. Yeah, I mean, I finally got an AEW interview too at Sean Spears. So, hopefully they give me some more. I'm crossing my fingers, crossing my T's, dotting my I's. Hopefully they do. Bakir says Roman Reigns is now 3 times WWE champions and 2 times Universal champion. And then Jobber JJ says hashtag join Denise order. Kevin M says the Fiend was weakened yet again at the end by being shown lying at ringside. I'm not sure how it should have been improved because the emphasis needed to be on Reigns, but it still didn't help him. Yeah, I get what you mean. And I think a lot of people that are especially are big fans of the Fiend, probably this was not the ending that they were liking. Raymond says Reigns winning was not a prediction. That's a spoiler. And then, who haven't I read yet? Sorry. D-Train says, if wrestling is on, she is super active. Make sure to follow her. She's plenty of good content. Thank you so much, D-Train. External Shockwave says, I disagree with the booking for the end. I really only enjoyed Lee versus Orton and Apollo versus Lashley. Yeah, Lee versus Orton had a really good ending. I did not like Apollo versus Lashley. But thank you so much for sharing your opinion. Kramen says, Jobber JJ, hashtag join Luke Nice order. Luke Nice is kind of, it's going to take me a second to get used to. Luke Nice. I got to practice it. All right, last one. Anakin James T says hashtag DWO. Alrighty, everyone. That was our WWE Payback stream. Once again, thank you guys all so much for joining in. It really makes me happy when you guys actually come into the stream and hang out with me because you know, it's not easy to get viewers. So thank you guys so much. I will see you all for All Out on September 5th, which is a Saturday. Yes, a Saturday. So I will be here. I will set the stream up, share it on Twitter, and you guys can set your reminder, and I will see you for that. Alrighty, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend and a great start to your week tomorrow. I will see you guys all later. Thank you guys so much. Bye, everyone. Love you all. Bye.